drown out the obnoxious part.
Hello and welcome to Structured Gibberish Podcast. Today is August 18th, maybe? Yeah, that
So far as I know.
seems about right. August 18th, 2023. I almost said 2013. Because I went it's got a 3 at the end, and then my brain was just trying to fill in the middle.
2013.
Yeah. 2023.
We're back.
I have not yet solved the issue of my monitor having suddenly become extremely wobbly, and my camera is on the monitor. And so it's very wobbly. And I don't know why. I did check that there's nothing under the little feet. It's just an LG monitor, and it's very wobbly. And my cat is still doing his patrols.
You should, I don't know, put a matchbook under
I don't.
your monitor or something.
It's not that. It's where the stand connects to the back of the monitor is not the stand is real thin,
right.
and the whole thing is just wobbly. It's the vertical stand is real thin, and then it's got these really long, thin feet, and the whole thing is just flexible. So the whole thing very easily. If I shake the desk, my other monitors they recover pretty much instantly from the wobble, and this one just keeps going.
I'm giving mine a good little.
Yeah.
But that's not bad. It takes it's
mine
not.
Is just I put my hands on the keyboard just now, and it made the whole thing wobble. So
right.
Yeah, and I need to move the mouse. See, I'm moving the mouse around now. I don't know why this has gotten worse. I honestly don't. But
did you get back there and futz with the fasteners or something? I don't know.
My other monitor was not adjustable. It was really old, and I just bought a stand on Amazon, a monitor stand. Took off its normal stand and put it on this one, and it's now really solid. So I might do the same thing with this one, even though this monitor is 2 years old. Yeah, might be a good idea. I could even raise it up a little bit. I might move the camera off onto its own separate stand and put it between the monitors, and then it'll be a little bit lower. I don't know. I
feel like I want to do that as well, just because mine is it's at the top of the monitor, and it's always covering 2 tabs.
I also noticed it's a little bit high up because I was futzing with stuff. I guess that's better. I don't know. All right, earthquake test. Yep, that was me moving the mouse. Okay. Well, anyway. Hey, the beard is gone. I shaved.
Sad. I was hoping for at least one live picture together. Beard bros. Bros for life.
I can grow it again fairly easily. It'll just take a couple weeks.
Just give me a couple weeks notice from the next time you swing by, and I'll beard up.
Yep. So, what are we going to talk about today?
I gave you a detailed list.
That's true. That is true. Okay, here's what we're going to talk about. Where's my buttons? And why has Skype decided to jump in front of OBS here? Okay, so yeah, we're going to talk about this Cosmic Fury opening theme video. So this is the actual theme song. You can't hear the theme song. Pat and I listened to it, and I think we both agree it is not great. It's not the worst Ranger theme song, but it's not great.
The only other Ranger theme song I know is "Go Go Power Rangers," which I feel like is the perfect amount of talking in a Power Rangers theme song. Personally,
the only words in the original theme song were "Mighty Morphin Power Rangers" and "Go."
Right.
So, this one, in the grand tradition of more recent Rangers, basically gives you the premise, which is that they're going to be heroes and fight bad guys, but this time they're in space. So,
and we've got lightning bolts pointed at our genitals. Yeah. That's the part I disagree with.
Yeah. Okay. Well, anyway, you all can go and find it and listen to it. So there's a couple of things that we know about the show based on this description here, as well as some of the Sentai footage that they're using, as well as various other things. So first off, this is their Dino Fury suits. This is the last scene of the second season. Zato has just returned from the dead, and now he's Gandalf the White. Basically, this is a Gandalf the White situation going on here. So he was the Red Ranger, now he's the White Ranger. Actually, I think they called him the Ghost Ranger or something like that, because he was dead.
Hammer home that dead angle. Got it.
The main villain is, of course, Lord Zed, who is
Which is
also
awesome because Lord Zed has always been a badass looking character.
yes.
Maybe not always badass acting, but badass looking all the time, every day.
These are the newly designed Zed minions. There's a poster. I wish I looked up the poster ahead of time. There's a poster where you can see them pretty well. They're not terrible. They're definitely way better. See, they kind of got like an exaggerated Zed helmet going on.
That's cool.
The let's see. You see them kind of fighting in the background every so often. Yeah, so they're there.
They're putty-like, but
they're
maybe
kind of like Quantrons. Yeah, there's another.
I don't know that. I don't know what that means.
Okay. Oh, well, anyway, there seems to be like a red, like general version, as in like the leader of the, the highest level of the foot soldier, and then the rest of them are silver, is what it looks like from the poster. But anyway, so you got these guys. All right, they're fighting, so you can kind of see the Zed helmet. Some people thought when this suit first leaked that this was actually like Zed gets a ranger form or something like that.
Oh, I mean, without knowing any context and just seeing that, I could have seen it.
Yeah, but no, these are definitely his foot soldiers, which is fine. We do know that this guy's arm gets like torn off or blown off or something. Like he has a robot arm after a while that exists even when he's unmorphed. So he's losing his arm. Spoiler alert.
Spoiler alert, this man's got no arm.
Yep, they're still doing the thing. So, some interesting things. This is the Green Ranger's girlfriend.
Uh-huh.
And she now is in the opening credits.
Oh.
Which is a new thing. The Sentai footage that they're using. Yeah, they're not using the Sentai suit footage. They've got all new suits that they designed. I believe you know that.
I do now.
Okay, but they're using Zord footage from a different series, from an actual Sentai series. That Sentai series has 12 Rangers in its main cast, and those 12 Rangers are there for most of the series. And so there are a lot of Zords.
Mm-hmm.
And in the footage, you see that at least the main, there's 9 main Rangers in that season. And then like 3, roughly 6th Rangers, essentially.
Gotcha.
So, and then an upgraded form so there's really like 10 suits. But anyway, the main 9 Rangers Zords are seen in this trailer or in this opening footage. So I'm pretty sure she's probably going to become a Ranger. She's wearing purple, which led people to think that she's going to be some people think she's going to be the Purple Ranger. That would make sense. There is a purple Zord. But the purple Zord is like a main, it's kind of like the Red Ranger. It's like the main body of a Megazord.
Yeah, so, it would be weird if she's just like, "Hi guys, I'm new, and I'm the main body of Zords."
I'm assuming that Void Knight, who is purple and became a good guy at the end of the series, is going to be the pilot of that Zord. I think it was the Morpher toy or something like that, turns orange and then says her name. So it pretty much means she's probably going to be the Orange Ranger.
Seems like a good indicator.
Yeah, so she'll have the Scorpion Zord. But here we go, Pat. This is the one.
Oh, Billy!
Finally, confirmation that David Yost is actually coming back, and that he's going to be in suit, like as a morphed Ranger, and not just like an advisor to the team.
I would also like to know, though, and this is just important to me. Why is he always so sleepy?
He's like 60 years old, so
he's just barely there, Billy.
Look, he was. I don't want to look up how old he is, but he was already almost pushing 40 in the original show. He was the oldest of the cast members.
Was he? I never would have guessed that.
Or maybe not. No, maybe he was like in his very early 30s, but either way.
I mean, whatever. I would never have guessed he was not a teen.
Yeah.
On that show.
He was the oldest one.
Based on acting ability and looks.
I just noticed this little thing in the corner here seems to be the Dino Thunder White Ranger's weapon, I think. Or maybe it just kind of resembles that, and that's just one of the bad guy weapons. But like, here he is fighting the Zed guys, and you could at one point there's who is this? Is that Fern back there? The girl in purple fighting? Possibly. But yeah, like at some point you do see the other Blue Ranger run by. So like this is not like once and always footage. This is actual footage from this show.
Well, I'm wondering now as we're, going through this, I wonder how much of that is going to deal into this at all. Like we're going to see.
We're going to get into the theories in just a minute. My theories.
Okay.
I haven't read anybody else's theories. I'm trying to stay.
Yours are the only ones that matter.
Thank you. I'm trying to stay because the Ranger fandom is really not great nowadays. Like I honestly, it's gotten really toxic, and I don't like hanging out there anymore.
That's sad.
Yeah, like the voice actor who plays Zed like quit the show because people on Twitter wouldn't leave him alone because he doesn't sound like David Axelrod, who died.
That is unfortunate.
Yeah. So, it's not great. So anyway, what else we got? So there is like you do see some of these weird looking villains who I think are from Q Ranger. I remember there being a lot of, he is, I believe. There were a lot of octopus themed villains from time to time.
That's weird.
Yeah. So this is Sentai footage now. This is a Jark Matter. That was the main villain faction, Jark Matter, in the Sentai show. They would land these towers on planets and start like taking them over. But they redid the cockpits, the Q Ranger cockpits, which are the cosmic orbs now, is what the balls are called, the cosmic orbs. And
where do the balls rest on the robot?
Oh, I'll show you in a minute. But so like here's the Gold Ranger. He's piloting the yellow Zord. Pink is piloting red. Green is piloting green, and Billy is piloting blue instead of, at least in this footage, instead of the actual Blue Ranger, there was a rumor going around that he is going to be evil at some point in this show.
Oh.
Zed had brainwashed him at one point during the second season. Maybe that's going to come about again, but Billy used to have the Wolf Zord, and now he's piloting the Wolf Zord again. So I think that's cool.
Is it literally the same Zord, or is it just both of them were wolf-based?
Both of them are wolf-based.
Okay.
So here you go. Here's where the balls are. These are the cockpits.
They had to put the blue one in between his legs, huh?
Yes, that's where it goes. These are all interchangeable. And I actually think, I'm not 100% sure here, this might be American footage. I'm not 100% sure, but the fact that the middle one where the Pink Ranger is pink looking and not red, maybe they just kind of tinted it a little bit, and that's fine, because the Pink Zord is up here. But anyway, I don't know who's going to be piloting these other Zords. So like, Amelia is going to become the Red Ranger, and she's going to be in the middle. The Gold Ranger is going to be here. Green Ranger's here. Billy is here. They made the black one look kind of bluish, but that might have just been like the tinting going on. I don't know.
That's pretty standard in tinting,
Yeah. So this is actually the orange Zord. So that's Fern. We have at least a pink, gold, and this is supposed to be silver Zord left. So who's going to pilot those, Pat?
Who indeed?
But we know they're going to use them because we do see like the footage of, let's see, there's the morphing and stuff. There we go. So that's with the pink Zord attached to it.
I mean, that silver one could be black.
Could be. So, oops.
Could be another familiar face. Is all I'm saying.
Yeah, you think it might be Zach or Adam?
I would hope that it was Zach if Billy is on the show.
Yeah. Well, anyway, let me talk about my theory of what's going to happen in this show, because there was another rumor that Lord Zed is going to set up his castle on the planet of Eltar, the home planet of Zordon.
Hmm.
And
just to be a dick?
Probably. Now, the comics established that before Zed's skin got burned off, he was also the same race as Zordon. That's comic continuity and not show continuity. The show continuity is just that Zed is he at some point touched the Zeo crystal and it sensed his evil and burned him alive, essentially. But his evil
They're
magic
just like,
kept him alive. That's the official children's cartoon show continuity that was stated in the show, was that he touched the Zeo crystal and it burned him alive. So,
cool beans. Cool beans.
So this show may or may not establish that he is Altarian, but at the end of Once and Always, Billy is trying to find Zordon.
Right.
And here's a show where he's going into space with Rangers to fight Zed on Zordon's home planet. So you know what I think is going to happen.
We're going to get our Zordon.
We're going to get our Zordon back. I think by the end of this show, Zordon will be alive. And I'm kind of hoping that it's like, not only is he alive, but he's not in the tube. As much as it's great to see Zordon in the tube, I think it would be like the original guy who played him is still around, still doing the conventions and everything. And he even said like he would go back to the show if they asked him. Wouldn't it be great? Because Zordon was trapped in the tube. He didn't want to be in the tube.
Right.
If not only did they bring him back, like fanboyishly, I would want him in the tube. Narratively, I would want it to be like they have actually, after all these years, finally saved him from his imprisonment, kind of a deal.
Now, was he imprisoned? Was he hurt? Like, what was? I vaguely remember notion from that new movie.
Yeah, no,
one with Bryan Cranston.
Yeah.
And he was like a ranger, and then he was hurt, and then he got stuck in there. But like, what's the real? Give me the real, Brian.
They never really said exactly why. He was fighting with Rita, and became trapped in an energy tube, which is connected to them. He's essentially lost in the morphin grid, and they anchored him to this energy tube. And there were several times in the show, like in the Green Ranger saga, where he became unanchored and they had to search the grid for him again. But now his energy is dispersed outside of the grid because of the Z-Wave.
Right.
So, or maybe it's back in the grid, who knows? But I think that's what's
it's just not in the tube is what we're for sure.
Yeah. No, I would really love to see, bring the guy back. David Fielding, bring him back, cover him in blue makeup, and let him be outside of the tube in real life. Let the actor be in real life. This also says that they're going to be joined by some familiar faces, which leads me to believe it won't just be Billy. This series is only 10 episodes long, and there is a high likelihood that this is the last series, because the reboot that they've been talking about for so long has been delayed so many times, and the CEO that championed Power Rangers, like the guy Brian Goldner, who wanted to buy this show and thought it was going to be amazing, he died, and the new CEO does not care about Power Rangers at all. And so I see the fandom throw around like, oh, well, they said they want to do this, they said they want to do this, and it's like, nah, the old CEO said they wanted to do this. This was like 3 years ago. They were talking about what they wanted to do. And since then, every time they've tried to start a reboot or like a new movie or a new show or whatever, it's been sidelined somehow. Like something has gone wrong and they haven't been able to figure out how to do it. This line of shows, like continuing on using the Sentai footage, has been the only thing they've managed to keep going. And I'm pretty sure that's just basically Simon Bennett, the producer, is very good at this.
Right.
Like, he's good at just keeping the show moving.
I don't understand why they would kill the show if there's still a viable fan base, and there seems to be. Little kids, I see little kids playing with Power Ranger toys. A good example of this is, the new Ninja Turtles movie. I read some, the box office was not as lucrative as one might hope, I hear.
Mm-hmm.
But the
that's
product sales are massive.
There's Ninja Turtle toys everywhere. All the movies out now are not doing as well, except for Barbie and Oppenheimer.
Well, right. Well, even Oppenheimer's not performing as well as they
Yeah.
thought. Barbie is just a phenomenon, which I haven't seen yet. I really want to see that movie.
The actors and writers are not allowed to promote things, so there's like
Right?
very little press other than like if the press wants to just write
I
about
didn't
a movie,
even
that's pretty much it.
know. I didn't even know the Turtles came out for about a week, and I was like, "Oh shit, that's out!"
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
I still haven't seen that either, though. You know, it's
So
crummy.
the most vocal of the fan base is extremely. This is why I get upset with the fans. They will take every opportunity publicly to like tweet at Hasbro or at Simon Bennett. Like they will reach out and tell people how much they dislike things. Like they will publicly complain, but then amongst themselves they'll talk about like how great everything is.
Right.
You know, and then they'll, if you like call them out on it, then they're just like, well, look, yeah, I should be allowed to voice my displeasure with things, right? Like I'm not going to just say everything's great and pretend everything's great. It's like, but you are projecting constantly the negative and not following up with the positive. If you want them to feel like, if you want Hasbro to feel like this is a brand worth investing in, you can't just hate on everything publicly, right? You can
I agree with you. I agree with you. But that said, I don't think they take much of that into account, because there's a very vocal fan base for the Ghostbusters, and generally speaking, everybody was like, "Hey, the things you did were good, except your distribution," and they have continually said, "I don't care." In fact, I don't know. Did you hear about this? Did you hear about the slip up controversy?
No.
I'm not going to sidetrack this too much here, but you know they've got the big Hasbro. What is it? What do they call it? PulseCon.
PulseCon, yeah.
PulseCon's coming up. Somebody said we've got a lot of things we want to talk about, but we don't want to cross the streams. And the Ghostbusters fan community was like, yeah, they're finally doing something great, because all they've done is they put out a run of the base figures of the first, you know, movie Ghostbusters and the newest movie Ghostbusters. And the newest movie Ghostbusters had such terrible distribution that like I never saw the kid figures in the store, not once. Because my daughter loved the movie and wanted toys, and I wanted to buy them for her. I found the old man Venkman and Ray and Winston. Never once did I see the kids in the movie, of which you needed to collect all of to build a figure that never existed in the movie anyway. But the point is that then Hasbro came out, changed all the graphics that had that quote on it, and we're like, we didn't mean it that way. So what they mean is there's no Ghostbusters announcement. They could give two fucks about Ghostbusters. And there's a massive community of Ghostbusters people who are dying for products, and they just don't care. You know, if they can't see, and again, they had a popular movie, a movie that did well for them, and they just didn't. The main character, and again, I'm sorry, I don't mean to sidetrack. I'll be done with this in a second. The main fucking characters in the movie, Egon and spoiler alert, Egon's granddaughter, were only available in a 2-pack that saw no. I never saw it. How many fucking toy lines have you seen where they're like, hey, the main character is an exclusive 2-pack that we're really not going to release much of?
Mm-hmm.
It's complete bullshit. Complete bullshit.
I think Hasbro is in a situation right now where they have too many properties and they don't have enough people. Like they don't have teams working on all of these things. And it's not that they want to leave money on the table. Like I'm pretty sure they just are trying to figure out, based on the fact that they are selling off properties right now and putting Power Rangers on hold and stuff. I'm pretty sure they're trying to look at like, hey, what's our top 3 or 4 things that actually sell really well, and everything else we're going to shelf until we can figure out stuff. Because like the price of everything is going up.
Yeah, it is.
Like
I mean,
crazy.
that's a big thing. That's honestly, yeah. I mean, it has massively slowed down my collecting. You know, I used to get whole waves of Marvel Legends, and now it's like I'm gonna maybe get one,
Yeah.
maybe two.
And that's the thing. It's harder for, like, if you look at Transformers, the adult collector market is a substantial portion of Hasbro's profit for Transformers, which
For
didn't
sure.
used to be true. It used to be really small, but now it's like, I forgot what it was, like 20%, something like that.
Hmm.
That's a fairly substantial chunk. And so they do a lot to cater to that group, but they also put out tons and tons of product aimed at kids. And
Right.
that, to keep the price down, those products have been getting worse and worse and worse. And, whenever they put out something of a higher quality, kids don't buy it, right? Because parents
Sure.
don't buy it, right?
Right.
It's too
Parents,
expensive.
the mom dollar, which is very important to the toy industry, is cheap. It's cheap. It's got to be cheap. It's got to be effective. It's got to be something the kid wants, and that the mom's not going to feel like, oh shit, I can't afford to buy me that bottle of wine. Uh, you know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
And it sucks. It sucks. But I've said this for a long time. What's interesting to me is I actually think we need to see, and what we are kind of seeing is kind of a return to basics. When kids, but even before our age, like we were the fucking golden age, and we should all appreciate that. All the 80s 90s kids really need to appreciate that a legitimate fucking golden age for toys, for being a kid. It was beautiful. um Before us, like you just like, I love old toys, and it's part of it is because of their charm and their cheapness. One of my favorite figures, a figure I can't pass up anytime I find it in a used toy shop, is Mork for Mork. And it is a basic ass, although a really good likeness of Robin Williams, but it didn't even paint. There's no paint on his face. They painted his hair, they painted the silver triangle on his thing, and I think his gloves, and that's the paint that's on the toy, and that's it. And it came in a plastic egg because he flew an egg ship. But I mean, that was all the kids needed. They were like, hey, that's my favorite guy. I want to have a little totem of him to carry around with me, and I identify more now with this character. And then we came along, we had just everything given to us on a silver platter. All the characters we ever wanted and ones we didn't, available at inexpensive prices, tons of paint, and I mean, fucking comic books and other media packaged in with our toys, and they were still $5,
Yeah.
And it just, we're at a point right now where, we're not able to do it anymore.
Right.
And part of it is greed. Don't People are making these things what they are because people will pay for them. But part of it is costs have
Yeah.
just risen
I
to
mean,
a crazy degree.
I don't know about the rest, but Hasbro is not making as much money as they had been during like 10 years ago, when they were able to put out, like, the main line for any Transformers movie used to be the most complicated Transformers you could imagine.
Right.
And Rise of the Beasts is like, in order to keep the price down to where moms will buy them, they're incredibly cheap, very little paint, very little articulation, don't really barely even transform half the time.
Right.
And then the actual good ones, they have to like trickle release into the fan lines, or make them online exclusive or whatever. So, yeah.
And what another thing is probably, I guarantee you is part of this. You think about how many toy stores did we have?
Yeah, that's true. There's fewer outlets.
We had Toys R Us, which was the mecca, and then we had like KB, Toy Works. Toy Works was just the place where toys went to die. And that was fine, because the companies knew, hey, we're going to make our money. We're going to make a good chunk of money on all these toys when they come out. When they stop selling, we're going to funnel it over here, and the poor kids can have those toys 2 years later for dirt cheap.
Mm-hmm.
And then everybody was happy.
Yep.
But somewhere along the lines, that I don't know. Again, We know Toys R Us didn't close because it wasn't profitable. We know Toys R Us closed because of an asshole taking over and then chocking it full of debt and then junked it. But nobody's come up to fill the void, which means to me, like, maybe it's not something that's viable anymore.
Yeah. Yeah, I don't think so. Yeah.
It sucks.
The combination of the economy, like the cost of oil for shipping, as well as just literally making the toys themselves, which are primarily made out of oil. Plus, like the way everything shifted in the pandemic, like so many people are more comfortable buying things online. Amazon got significantly larger. It was large before the pandemic, but it got way larger. And just, you know, toy shelves are not stocked like they used to be.
No,
you know?
Absolutely not.
And that's actually part of the next topic that I wanted to talk about, which is this rumor of the Power Rangers HasLab. You know, there's a rumor going around that they're putting, well, it's not even a rumor anymore. Hasbro confirmed it at San Diego Comic-Con. The Lightning collection is going on hiatus for like a year, may or may not ever come back.
Right.
The power weapons are all the Rangers' original weapons, and they combine into the Power Blaster. And they put out 3 of the 5, and the 2 remaining ones are the largest ones, the bow and the axe. And you need these 2 to combine anything. Right. So the concern was, well, I guess we're not going to get them because Hasbro's not going to just make those. They're big. They're going to be super expensive. And so, yeah, even if they came back like in a year, now it's like, hey, here's some power weapons. Good luck getting the other ones.
Right.
You know.
Right. Well, because at this point, isn't it kind of hard to get the first? What was the first one? The sword.
The first one was the sword. I think
is it still available, or is
I think it's still up on Hasbro Pulse. But
okay.
The Power Lance isn't. That one's sold out, and I think the daggers are. I thought the daggers were still up. I don't remember. The Dragon Dagger they re-released at some point. Mm-hmm. That was actually the first one, but that one doesn't combine. But so the rumor is that they're going to do these last 2 as a HasLab, and it's because the lance and the daggers, the blue and yellow, performed so poorly at retail and in general that they don't feel that they can put out ones that are even larger and more expensive than the sword and have them sell enough to recoup the cost of doing it.
Yeah, that makes sense.
The rumor is that they're going to do this as a HasLab for the last 2. And honestly, I think that's the best way to do it in a bad situation.
To be honest with you, I think that it was probably the best way to do it from the get-go.
Yeah, they should have just done the whole thing as a HasLab.
Right. I mean, I even get like, you know, parting it out like this. You know, I feel like it's such a weird. It's you know, Power Rangers is beloved. Don't get me wrong, but it is not as massive as some properties. You know.
Yeah.
And they still like I love Star Wars, but I wouldn't spend and haven't spent yet like $200 on one of those fancy lightsabers. You know, The thought crosses my mind now and again, but it's never happened. You know, I've never pulled the trigger. And I think a big part of that is, well, I mean, obviously just general cost, you know? And so the idea that they put these things out there and they know that like I feel like Power Rangers is one of those things where if you're a certain age, you know, but outside of that, it gets fuzzy. You know, Star Wars is among the collective unconscious. Like everybody knows, children are born now knowing about Star Wars. Power Rangers not quite the same, you know, and so having something that is a very expensive thing, and especially like Billy's Lance, you know, like a lance is not that cool. You know what I mean? Like on its own. If you're not a fan of the Blue Ranger, if you're not a fan of Power Rangers in general, so like, and again, like you could sell a laser sword to most people. You'd be like, hey, this sword is just a fucking laser. That's a lot of fucks. I'm sorry. I'm gonna stop.
You have
But
none
you
left
know
to
what
give.
I mean. I have none left I give. Um, it's just a cool thing, and so like the same thing can be said again about the Dragon Dagger. You know, the Green Ranger transcends Power Rangers too. I feel like the Green Ranger is so instantly recognizable.
Yeah.
He is the pinnacle.
The
He's
guy,
the
the
you know.
guy, yeah, the guy who plays a dagger that is called a flute but sounds like a trumpet through his helmet that has
No
it has no
mouth.
mouthpiece. Yeah, that's well known.
And yeah, and yet I can almost guarantee again, people of a certain age, if you bust that out, if you go, they know what it was. They know what that is. You
Yes.
know what I mean?
Yeah.
Even if they don't, they can feel it in their heart.
Mm-hmm.
But again, like Trini Psi thingies.
They you can see like this is the there you go. Get my hand
Yeah,
back in
yeah.
the thing. I was like pointing to it. I was pointing to it. My hand was just off camera. This is the Bandai one. This is the old one. This isn't
yeah.
this isn't
Okay.
the Hasbro one. They would, if they were not making a combining power blaster, which I don't think Bandai was ever planning to, because they only ever put out the power sword and then like a bunch of other random things. But if they weren't specifically saying like, hey, we're putting these out and they're gonna combine, people wouldn't buy all the other individual Ranger stuff, I bet.
Right.
So
no, you'd sell a bunch of Green Ranger flutes and probably some Red Ranger swords, because again, a sword is just cool.
Yeah.
Like you can just pick it up and be like, ha ha ha, ha, it's cool. When you're talking about a lance and size, and I mean, bow and arrow probably still cool. Even I could get behind that. The axe probably still cool, but those two, like those, if the two that you're claiming are not selling are exactly the ones I would have pegged to not sell.
Yeah.
And so it's a really hard thing, because like you said, obviously people want them. The people who want to collect all of them and put the whole thing together, absolutely, they want all that stuff. But if you were going to tell me they should absolutely have cut those down. Those two should have been HasLab. Those two should have been the very end and been like, hey guys, you have all the cool ones. These two over here, you gotta pay up front.
what I think they should have done is not had the level of electronics in them that they do. The daggers and the lance light up along the edge of the blade, and then they've got like the motion sensing stuff, and the sword has that thing where if you run your hand across it, it lights the blade up, which like all of these things are very cool. The dagger you actually can play. Like if you hit the buttons in the wrong order, it doesn't do the song right.
Oh, okay. You got to do it right.
You got to do it right. I mean, there's a different mode where it's just like you push the button and it plays it, but there's a mode where you actually do play it. And you have to do the fingers exactly like he does to get it right. It's all
respect.
very cool.
Give respect.
But like the dagger and the lance and the bow, none of those things have sounds associated to them that are iconic, and they light up and that's it. And they didn't light up on the show. The power sword at the very least he did at one point run his hand across the blade and light it up, and then he threw it at a guy. But like the other ones are like they want to put electronics in it, and they're cool because you could like swing them around and they make whoosh whoosh noise. But like there's nothing about them that.
Can I ask real fast, how much were those?
Probably too much.
No, I'm just.
No, I'm literally looking it up because I don't remember.
I was just to say, it's not any indicator against you, because I think you are the target market.
Yeah.
You are the people who they're selling these to. But even, like I said, even those lightsabers, the fancy pants ones that make the whoosh whoosh, and you can choose which color your blade is and all that kind of stuff, like they're functional. Some of them, the expensive ones are. You can beat the hell out of things with it, and it's not going to break, and it's for that. I would wager that if you were to use one of these, I've only held one or two of them at your house, but they didn't feel like they could take a beating.
The lances probably, if you have them extended, they're probably not they're probably going to break. The sword is reinforced with like a metal rod, and it will probably break you before it breaks.
Well, that's cool.
The daggers, I think, are just kind of too small to be broken by impact. Like, you could probably throw them at the wall and they'd be okay,
And they'd
like
still be
once
okay.
or twice. But they were like $100.
Right. So that is just still too much. Like, I would never take a $100 item and play with it like that unless it was built specifically to, like I said, those sabers. I know you can beat the shit out of stuff with them.
So the Bandai stuff, like if you look at Saba back there, he is
Saba. Even the Saba on the show didn't look like it could take getting hit.
That's true. But this thing is like, it has a lot of die-cast in it, and it creaks when you hold it because it's full of electronics. It has a motor in it and everything. Like, it is. All of the Bandai ones were 100% display pieces. They were adult cosplay pieces that you're definitely not going to give to a kid and say, hey, go fight in the backyard. The Hasbro ones are definitely geared. Stop it. They are built under the assumption that kids are going to smack them into each other. They are more rugged than the Bandai ones, for sure.
So maybe I've only ever messed with the Bandai ones, because I'm feeling like they...
There, here, just sit tight. I'm going to go... They're right here. I'm going to grab some. Hang on.
Okay. While Brian does that, I'll tell you all that I think that these are very big wastes of money. But they make Brian happy, so, we let that happen. All right, here they come. Here they come. I have a Green Lantern.
Well, no, hold on. I gotta get my headphones back on here. I don't know where to put these down that they're not going to hit my keyboard.
That's also fair.
All right, so really.
Oh yeah, that's pretty.
Not, they're pretty good. They're made of like I don't know. I want to say it's like a hard, soft plastic. I don't know how to describe it. It's more kid-friendly plastic, but like this one specifically, if you do this, I feel like now you've introduced a breaking point down here.
Right, for sure.
You probably don't want to do that too much.
Yeah, even wiggling it around looks like... Yeah.
Okay. The dagger, though... Okay, calm down. The dagger, though, is significantly lighter. It almost feels like it was made to be thrown. And actually, I don't even know if I ever put batteries in this one. No, I didn't. Maybe that's why it feels so light.
Maybe.
Because it doesn't have batteries in it. And I also don't know why, but this does this, and I have no idea why. It didn't.
Maybe that'll
never
help
happened on
with
the
the
show.
combining piece somehow?
I don't think so. But here's the thing. This is what I was going to get at. Yeah, I guess I didn't put the batteries in because the button doesn't work. Did I only put batteries in one of them? I swear I had batteries in both of these at once. Anyway, the point is, even the Green Ranger has like the Dragon Dagger is like a much more flexible tip, and it's just like it's not chromed, so like the chrome's not going to chip off. My Bandai one, the chrome it's deteriorating. This one's going to look like this forever. It started out looking not as good, and it will end looking better at the end of the day. But anyway, what I was getting at.
Get yourself one of these.
I might do that.
They're very fun.
That was an accident. A happy little accident is what we call that. What was I getting at? Oh,
I don't know.
Here's what I was getting at. They went to great lengths. This one makes sense to do. This one makes the most sense to make noise. Okay. So we all agree on that. Dragon Dagger should make noise.
Yeah.
This has no canonical noise to it, right? It's just a dagger. You hit things with it. Most of the time she threw them. They were like throwing daggers, and then she would magically just get them back. But what they do have noises associated to is the noise they make when they attach to the power blaster.
Got it. Okay.
Which these have no ability to make. Was what I was getting at. So they could have been like, hey, these have no sound. They don't need the motion. I mean, they could have done the whoosh whoosh. That's fine, I guess. But like, they don't need to make sounds because the sounds are probably going to be in the power bow for when they connect, and then it'll go like and do the thing. Like they could have cut down the cost on these.
Right.
Make the handheld weapons just a little bit cheaper, a little bit like without the battery in it, this is actually really like, I feel like I should just throw this at people. You know, like if an intruder came in, I could whip this at him and I wouldn't feel bad for the dagger, you know?
Feel bad for the intruder. Oh.
But anyway, I feel like we got off of a topic somewhere, but
we did. I'm enjoying it though. I love when we get on tangents.
yeah, it's an unfortunate thing because I know the Power Ranger team at Hasbro does, like, they're on the boards. They don't talk, but they're reading it all.
Right.
And they respond to fan criticism a lot because fans criticize a lot. And I'm not trying to say that the criticisms are not valid, because they totally are. So they see a lot of that. And there's a conflux of, like, it feels like everything they put out has some sort of a didn't live up to expectation. It's like, you know, they put these daggers out, right? And it's like, they do more than the daggers should, you know, like they cram stuff in it, and people will go, well, it's not supposed to have this thing on the end. Why didn't they just take this thing off the end? It doesn't have that on the show. It's like, well, that's so they can connect to, they added a feature. They thought it would be fun. And and then people are complaining about it. Yeah. So they see all of that, plus the cost of everything is going up, plus, which then means that people aren't buying as much. Even the fans that love it are being super selective because they have to be. They don't have infinite money. So all of that is coming together for Hasbro to just be like, we can't afford to just keep making stuff because the cost to make it is going up. The price tag has to go up. They are taking less in profit. Their profit is, they're still profitable for sure, but they are making less profit than they would love to be, I'm sure. And then people aren't buying it. So the HasLab makes sense to me.
Absolutely. I think, like I said, I really feel like it would have been in their favor to hold off the two that weren't selling.
Yeah.
Now, obviously, this wasn't the business model to start with.
Right.
But yeah, if they go back, go ahead and sell all you can of the axe and the bow and arrow, and then be like, these two are going to be our weak ones anyway. Make them a HasLab, make them so the people who want to collect them all are going to be the ones who fund it and collect them all. And then you could do a smaller run, and nobody's going to care. Nobody's going to be like, oh, I can't believe I missed out on the Pink Ranger bow.
If they had done the entire Power Blaster at once, it probably would have been like a $600 HasLab.
Right.
Because I think that's about what they all cost altogether.
Right.
I mean, I don't know how much the bow and the axe would have sold for.
Just too much to ask for well, I don't know. Most of these things have been funded, and they've been every time. I'm like, shit, that is an astronomical amount of money. You know, the Sentinel. I was like, what am I going to even the Sentinel?
They're not all funded, but
well, I know they're not all, but
the ones that are,
I think the majority of them have been funded.
Most of them have been funded, and yeah, they're all the Transformers ones after Unicron. And I actually do think Unicron was probably worth the money just given the sheer amount of plastic. But the Transformers ones have been fairly reasonable at being like under $300 for like fairly large figures, you know? So, but some of the other ones, I don't know how they arrived at the price of them, but
that's, I don't know. Did you don't follow any of the Ninja Turtle stuff, right?
No.
Just NECA just announced they're having one of their big pushes right now for a pre-order, for the layer, and the layer is $300.
Just like rest this like this. I don't know.
It's like a trap.
This is a thing that people complained about, by the way, because they don't normally do this on the show. And people are like, why did you do that? And you ruined it. And it's like, guys, just don't ever move them. Like, what's the big deal?
Right.
Anyway.
But you know, I mean, things have gone up. Things are astronomical.
The price.
Things
we are just
are getting cut. Like they're that's just I'm constantly cutting. I was collecting the Thundercats, the Super 7 ones, you know. Well, I was collecting them back when they were Mattel, but I can't see my way to paying $55 for a Thundercat character.
We are in
Snarf is $55. It's like, that's bull.
We are in a precarious position right now. We're at a precarious point where people are not making enough money. A lot of people, because of the pandemic, cannot work anymore, or they can't work the same types of jobs they could before.
Right.
Companies are going out of business. People are losing jobs. If, jobs are out there, but they're not, to get political for a minute, like the minimum wage has not kept up. People can't afford this stuff, and the prices are going up. And what's going to happen? Like supply and demand is going to get out of balance. These companies are going to have they can't lower the prices too much.
Right.
Like they could, but they would seriously be cutting into profits, which a publicly traded company cannot do because their shareholders would revolt. Like all of the realities of how businesses work in America is leading us to a point where we are going to stop buying toys and they are going to stop making toys.
Right.
And then at some point it will fix itself. But like we're going to get to that point because we can't keep, I can't spend $50 on a single Transformer, just a normal sized guy. Cause that's what the prices are going to be by in a year or two, I'm sure, if this keeps going. Like, it's just not going to be sustainable. And then they're going to be like, oh, you guys aren't buying our stuff anymore. It's like, yeah, we want to, it's still good stuff. But we literally cannot afford it.
It's great stuff. But yeah, that's in a nutshell. Like I said, the other day I just finally cleared out my big bad toy store again, and I think I only had like 4 things in there. And it's been at least a month, 2 months, but because I keep going through and be like, as much as I want this, gotta pass on that one. That's just, it's a little crazy. Got to put that away. And I mean, shit, gas prices shot up like insane.
Yeah.
It was $4.40.
I don't leave my house very often, but I was shocked by how high the price of gas was.
Well, and the other thing is that it shot up for like, seems like no reason. Like there's no, I look it up every time it happens.
Yeah.
It's not like, oh no, a refinery blew up. No, it's just like one day it was $3.89. Next morning it was $4.20. And next morning it was $4.40.
Yep.
And it's like,
because the price of gas isn't based on any sort of reality.
Right. Exactly.
Which is great.
It boggles the mind. And it was the other thing, like the thing that makes you, and I don't want to get too far down this rabbit hole. The thing that makes me nuts is that like for a month, gas prices are all over the place. Like, I don't know how it is by you exactly, but from where I live in Illinois to where I work in Indiana, the gas prices will vary. Like I'll pass 15 stations and they're all different priced. Yep. Some of it's by pennies, some of it's by dimes,
where were we going? We were driving up 41 the other day, and my wife was like, remind me to stop and get gas after we leave. And I forgot. And like we were driving past a speedway and the price was like $4.09 or something. And we're driving past it. And I was like, oh, we both completely forgot we were going to get gas. And I was like, there's another speedway. There's like 3 speedways up the road. We'll stop at one of those. And we get to one of them and it's $4.19.
Yep.
And we were like, at that point, like, do we literally turn around and burn more gas to drive back to the cheaper one? Like, it's probably worth it.
Well, and it's funny too, because you think about it, so though, like you're talking, even when you're talking like 10 cents a gallon, what are you talking? You know what I mean? $1.50.
It depends on how big your gas tank is, but yeah. Right. At the end of the day,
in general, you're talking about a couple of dollars, which, keeps going. Yeah, it adds up. But like in your scenario where it's like, I feel like I should turn around, it's $1.50. If $1.50 flew out my window right now, would I stop and go get it? No.
When I was a kid, I didn't believe when people said like time is money. But as an adult who owns a house and everything, like, yes, 100%.
Yeah, 100%.
Is it worth $1? Like if someone said, hey, I'll pay you $1.50 or I'll charge you $1.50 to do this. I'm just like, yeah, my time is worth way more than $1.50.
Right.
So anyway,
anyhow,
this podcast may turn into eventually the podcast where we just talk about how things used to be good.
Yeah. Oh, it's It's 100% going to
I
go
mean,
there, guys.
we may have nothing to wave around.
Right. We might have nothing
soon.
new to say.
Like, why does this thing? Hold on. Oh, there's that mode, and it lights up too. But I don't know the.
I was going to say you better learn.
You have to do like sometimes you have to do 2 fingers too.
So this is a viable musical instrument, is what you're saying.
Yes.
That's amazing. I love it.
But there's another. Oh yeah, there's that too. I don't know what that's for. It's like the button down here. Hang on.
That's so for passing ships know that you're there.
Okay, hold on, wait, hold on. No. There's a... No. Oh, God.
It just sounds like you're tuning through a radio now.
I know, it does. I'm trying to get the... Hold on. There it is. Why did they come up with this like, club mix version? How well is that coming through on the thing?
Not super well, but enough to make me feel it.
Okay, hang on. I'm gonna... Okay, just stop for a second. Hang on. Give me 1 second. I'm gonna turn off the noise canceller in my microphone, and then you will be able to hear this better. My kids are waking up and being like, "Why is Dad playing with the Dragon Dagger again?"
Gosh darn it, Dad! You put that Dragon Dagger away. It's middle of the night.
All right, I think that should be. Can you hear this better now? Yes.
Yes, I can.
Okay. So this thing has the ability to switch between versions of the songs. I don't know why I'm doing a review of this toy now, but so it can do this, right? Which is the end credits theme. But then you could do this.
Ooh, it's like a 90s cipher.
Like what is that?
I don't know. Tommy and Kimberly again.
What is this? Wait, let me start that one over.
This is what they listen to in their convertible on the way to beat down, so they get hyped up.
So anyway, it can switch between 4 different versions of the theme song, only one of which existed before this toy existed. So anyway.
That employed several people for a little while.
While we're doing this, I'm just gonna look up a video of him playing the flute. I'm gonna switch over to the next topic.
Yeah, let's do that.
I'm gonna just watch a video of his fingers doing the thing, and then I'm going to attempt to mimic it. What is the next topic? Is it the He-Man? Yes, it is the Masterverse movie with the Ramen toys head.
Yes. All right, so He-Man.
He-Man.
You guys may recall that I got the Masterverse movie He-Man figure. Brian, can you pull up that picture I sent you? Oh, yes. Just so we can get a reference of the toy.
Hold on, I got to get out of studio mode for a second here. Yes, okay. There it is.
So look at that friggin' terrible face. That is just about the worst thing I've ever seen. I don't know what they were going for because I don't really see Dolph in there at all.
No, did they not have his likeness? Were they trying or not?
I really think that they were trying. I want to say that they try to skirt these things by, I know Super 7 claimed that it was the William Stout collection because he was the artist behind the redesigns for the movie. And so I don't know that Mattel, I honestly don't know what Mattel was doing, but obviously whatever they were doing, it's not good. It's not good at all. Now they did I think they did Skeletor very well. Here's Skeletor. He's looking menacing. He looks like he did in the movie. You can almost kind of see Frank Langella under there. You know what I mean? Like it's a fine likeness. There he is. Look at that.
Yeah, that looks perfect.
So I have no qualms with this figure. I really like this figure.
Although, to be fair, like that's a likeness of a prosthetic and not a likeness of Frank Langella.
But in any case, this is what we got. I actually liked the vintage head so much I swapped it onto my. This is the 40th anniversary He-Man figure that they came out with. It's a nice old school likeness. You know, I feel like it's a very nice figure. But so they really screwed the pooch. I actually went and bought. I knew that this would happen. I went and bought a 3D printed Dolph Lundgren head, which is pretty darn good. I think, you know, they did a very good job. The only thing I didn't love about it, it's ever so slightly out of scale. It's just a little too small.
Is it really? That's too bad.
But then I heard about, and I was very excited about, this company called Ramen Toys. And Ramen Toys sent me, after I paid the money, this package, which again, nice little package, Masters of the Verse. And I got the version 1. They had 2 different versions of a Dolph Lundgren head. And then they also they made an origin scale head, which I didn't love. But without further ado, here is what I would say is perfect. If it would just
a little blurry.
Come on.
Get it more in the middle there. It's almost. There it is.
There he is.
Yeah, that looks much better. Looks much better.
And I mean, the skin tone matches the figure. It's very interesting. So, I honestly don't know why more companies like this don't exist in these realms. I know they exist in Transformers, but this is a company in China that is producing a factory made head. So this was made in a factory in China, possibly the same factory that made the rest of the figure. I don't know. But the head it's nicely tightly fits. And it is a full professional production head. Come on. So stupid. We're gonna get this fixed one day.
Yeah. That's gonna be the big. We gotta get the toy review camera situation figured out, and also the earthquake camera.
But here, I'll show you the put the 3D. Oh, there's the 3D printed one. So 3D printed one fits on here, but it's just a little small, you know, just not quite.
And it's got that it's got that obviously 3D printed aspect to it,
right?
Which you'd have to kind of, you know,
if ever I got good at painting, which is what stops me from finishing these projects, because I get all antsy about it. Anyway, this is done now. You know, I feel like I need nothing else to do with this figure. I'll have nothing to do with it. No.
I will throw it in the garbage from here on out.
Now it's complete. I shall throw it away. The other version claimed to have eyes that were looking up at the sword, but I don't really see that. I will say, I don't know. You have the website up, right?
The Ramen.
I kind of want to talk about Ramen Toys in general, because they're an interesting company.
I'm pretty sure. Hold on, let me make sure we're not breaking the rules. Yes, I did put them next, so we can talk about them.
Excellent. Could you scroll down to the pictures of this He-Man head? It's like way at the bottom because it's technically sold out. There he is. So I would actually argue that picture does not do justice to this toy. I think this toy looks much better. Keep moving things the opposite way. I hate that. Than the pictures show.
What's the difference between verse 1 and verse 2? It looks like the same head with different hair.
It does, right? But allegedly verse 2 he's made to be kind of looking up at the sword. Like he's supposed to be like, you pose him like this. So his eyes are slightly up. Again, I'm wondering if the pictures are just not doing it justice, because again, I feel like mine looks way better than that picture. And then like his hair is different. His hair is pushed back, and his eyes are just like, you can see they don't touch the bottom
ever so slightly.
Ever so slightly.
What's with Smush?
And like I said, that's for the Masterverse or the Origins figures, which I didn't care for. I didn't care for that head. There was like a special deal if you bought all three, and I still said no, thank you. I'll just take the one. And also look at over there, those most powerful stands. Those are actually, I don't. Oh, you get 6. That's why you're paying $10 a piece for those.
That's really cool though.
But you can also get them on Big Bad Toy Store for $12 each. So you don't have to buy a 6-pack.
Do they have, like, can you change the card in the back?
They don't actually come with the card.
So that you slide the card in.
Your card when you buy it, and you slide it in there, and it has the pop on there. I have designs on getting a couple of these eventually.
Are these colors so that you could do like Masters, Skeletors, and Snake Men's or something, or did like some of the packages have green?
No, the packages were always like the middle. The middle one is the kind of the gold standard.
That's what I thought.
But it makes sense, like the green could be Snake Men, the green could be Castle Grayskull, the purple obviously is more the bad guy, the red is kind of in between. Or maybe, I think maybe you're supposed to go green, Grayskull, purple, Snake Mountain, red traditional.
Oh, maybe.
But in any case, they're really nice looking stands. And for $10 or 12, I think, like I said, I think they're 12 individually on Big Bad Toy Store. And last I looked, they were in stock. So, but part of I didn't save my cards, so I don't. I'd have to print something out, which is fine.
Yeah, it's doable.
Again, their products are really great, but most of them, to my degree, are kind of expensive.
What you probably want to do is not use this exact design, but probably like use your art skills and make something specifically designed to fit this, maybe.
Right, because then those the exploding is there. So if you just do the Masters of the Universe logo popping up with the name, don't put any bricks on it.
Yeah.
Then it'll look really killer.
I think it would. Keep the blue background and just extend it all the way down.
I think I have all of the elements for this.
Make this happen.
Because I was building some some packaging once.
Yeah, and you could put the Structure Gibberish logo there and have me and you.
Exactly. That's why. That's really why they got to fix the selfie studio, because I need to buy a U so I can have the collection.
Yep.
So, but yeah, so let's just real quick go to their homepage, and let's look at some of the other products that they offer. I don't know if those are. Go to the Silverhawks real quick. I've never seen their Silverhawks thing.
Hold on a second, because I was just trying to figure out what Laboratories was, and my mind was going to oh, there's an L there. That looked like, I couldn't see the L. That looked like that was part of the design. I was like, what's an laboratory? Like, did they? Anyway, is this supposed to be Mask? Because that looks like the Mask logo.
It looks like Mask. It does. So,
no products there.
So that's either old or something coming. So
it's like a Monstar and Silverhawk, whatever his name is.
But see, $120 just seems too much. You know what I mean?
It's $100 is in the paint job.
Yeah, I mean I'm certainly not saying anything to their quality or the product that you're getting. Probably well worth the money, but it's just it's a hard pill to swallow. He's only 100. You had that going for you. At this point, though, for the only time ever, Super 7 actually beats them in pricing, and they've come out with one.
I'm actually surprised that they can use Quicksilver still, given that.
Well, again, I believe that the idea here is that they're just doing whatever they want until someone stops them.
Well,
so
they put a hold on. they put a trademark logo next to his name, which I,
Um,
I don't.
maybe.
Maybe they just did that, assuming. Sorry, I got
Well,
something
and
in
you know what? You remember I used to collect the Mego Museum cards. They did. I don't know if you remember any of this. I was a big trading card collector, and the Mego Museum is a website that was for Migos, and
Makes sense.
and they produced trading cards. Now the trading cards were very firmly never for sale. Um, and that was, I feel like that was part of why they got away with some of what they got away with. But they did, photographs of all the original Mego figures with no okay from Mego or Marvel or DC or any of the other properties. Um, but they would always put the trademark and registered mark on on the back. It would be like, Spider-Man trademark registered to Marvel Comics. And it's like, you obviously didn't have to do that because you're already making a product that they could come at you for. But maybe that's just kind of like hey, we want to just say we're respecting what's out there, and we love it so much, we want to make this thing. Please don't come after us. We are saying you own the trademark to it. We are not claiming that we own this. We are just selling it and making a profit.
This line down here, I've never seen this on a thing before. Usually it says like, the final like colors may not match the picture, like the final product may not match the picture. This says color tone may differ slightly depending on viewing device.
And that is insanely true.
It is, but it's also like the lighting conditions in your room, your eyeballs, like there's a whole bunch of things that might change your perception of things. It's just weird to call that out of like, actually the fact that like the two monitors, like I have OBS on this monitor and then all my other stuff is here. And this is my gaming monitor. These two are calibrated differently because I use them for different things, and the colors are different depending on slightly different depending on which monitor I'm looking at them on.
I'll be honest with you, I might start putting that on all of my proofs at work. That's good stuff.
Yeah, it's like it's a disclaimer that is 100% true, but also seems really obvious. And
well, it seems that way because of who you are, though.
Yeah,
it seems that way to me too. But I have encountered thousands of people that don't understand.
I mean, this shouldn't need to be a disclaimer ever since the blue and black dress, I feel. Right? Like, I think everyone kind of at that point now should intrinsically, anybody who lived through that, which was like 10 years ago, and I really hate that was like 10 years ago.
Yeah, right.
But anyone who lived through that should they should internalize that idea of your perception of things change depending on a lot of situational stuff.
The problem is that the bulk of the people actually just think that they're right, and the people who see it differently are wrong. That's all there is to it for them.
Well, so let me tell you, it looks better on my main monitor and not my OBS monitor.
I would bet. So
view it in HDR. What else I got on? What else?
Let's jump to the top. Oh, go.
I'm kind of disappointed in these. There was another company that also made these guys, and they did them like exact to the way they were originally, and these guys, or I should say, exact to the way they appeared on the show.
Ah, okay.
And these ones are much closer to the toy colors, but also like the toy colors, I feel like were even more realistic than this, and they weren't, especially this one, which. Maybe I just don't know this character. Was there like a second wave of these guys? Because this isn't one of the original ones.
I don't even really. The only reason I remember this toy line is because you had them.
I had one guy that I got from a garage sale.
I only ever liked the green one. Was that the one you had?
No, I had the blue one.
Yeah, the green one was the only one I liked.
Cloud. Wait, what was his name? He had a fantastic. All of them had great names. That were basically like as if when they were born, their parents were like, "You're gonna be the ground guy, and you're gonna be the flying guy." I'm gonna look.
This is dirt. This is cloud, and this is drips.
This is what the hell were their actual names? These were the Centurions.
I often forget what they were called.
Cartoon.
Cartoon.
Ace McCloud, that was his name. the flying guy.
Ace McCloud. Is that the green one?
No, it's the blue one. Oh, come on, why can't I click
But I
you?
thought the green one had flying stuff on him.
The green one was the water guy. So he might have had fins and stuff, but he was supposed to be the water guy.
I am disillusioned.
The
blue one obviously should have been the water guy.
I gotta zoom in.
Water's blue.
The bad guys had great names too. The main bad guy's name was Doc Terror.
That's amazing.
Right? Okay, so hold on. What are the rest of these guys' names? Where's the characters? Max Ray is the underwater guy. He's the green one. Okay. Jake Rockwell is the ground guy because he's got rocks. He's all about rocks and stuff. Ace McCloud is the flying one. Then so Rex Charger is the energy guy. And John Thunder is the, that's who.
That's just somebody who they were like, you know what? John Thunder sounds like a badass name.
That's who this guy is supposed to be. John Thunder, the Native American guy. But anyway, then the bad guys. Oh man, it was Doc Terror, and I think the other guy's name was just Hacker, maybe.
Crystal Kane. Who was Crystal Kane?
Crystal Kane, I think was. I think she was like the girl in the chair. She was up in their satellite thing, and she would beam them their armor stuff. Because the way it would work is they had like the suits that they had to just like manually put on like clothes. But then the satellite would like teleport the equipment onto them as needed. And so they would be like, hey, I need to go into space. I need to swap out for my space outfit. And she'd be like, all right, here it comes. And it would like beam out the other things and beam on the new ones. And they would yell power extreme, and then it would attach to them.
Like you do.
Yep.
Like you do.
So anyway, Centurions. So anyway, what I was saying was a different company did these, and they were super expensive, and they were really small and everything. So I don't know how expensive these guys are going to be, but if they're not,
they are moderately expensive. They're $70 to $100.
I want to say that they were the other ones were about $100 each. Yeah. But you had to buy them in a 3-pack, and it was over 300. But
I mean, these are on sale. I'm just saying.
I don't want this guy because I never got far enough into the show to watch that, see that guy. But this guy I would consider Max Ray. Max Lightyear, apparently.
Because somehow Lightyear isn't.
I don't know. This is Doc Terror, antagonist cyborg. This is what Doc Terror looked like. He had
antagonist cyborg bully.
It was there was very little human left of him, but yeah, it was like they stuck a cyborg. It like he's not split down the middle. It's like they stuck him to a cyborg, a robot.
It was the cyborg. The cyborg was like, no.
This is what he got. He had the too bad situation, but with a robot is what happened. This is what is literally what happened here.
Yep, that's exactly what happened. So
I think that's Doc Terror. This one is not Doc Terror for sure. But yeah, that one's even worse.
Yeah.
They just stuck their arm and leg sockets together.
Yeah. There are two heads on that one too. I like that. I actually kind of like this one more.
I do too. I'll be honest with you, I thought Doc Terror was orange though. Maybe this is his.
I was gonna say maybe they're the same guy because look at it again. The blue one specifically says 80s version.
Look at this is a different. Yeah, it is because look this. When you click this guy, you can swap out his sides. Attachable with upcoming land drone. That's what this is. You can take this side off and then attach it to a drone. Yeah.
Because that's somehow useful.
See? It's gross.
Just as a mechanic, like just as like a, like I'm an evil doctor and I'm going to replace half my body with cyborg parts. Like that just doesn't even make sense. It's like now I can attach myself to some of my drones.
Does this come with the This is just the weapon system, right? It doesn't come with the guy, I'm pretty sure. I like the idea of them selling the weapon packs separately because I think that's how the original toys were. You would get the character with their default set, and then every other expansion thing, you would just buy the weapons. I wonder, does it come with a gray version, or is that just saying, like, this is the stand-in for this guy?
Action figure not included is what that says on the leg. Okay. That's why he's grayed out, so you know that he's not in there.
Cool. I dig that, except that this weapon set is twice as much as this figure. But that's the only thing I don't dig about it. Anyway, I like this company. I hope they don't get sued into oblivion.
Yeah. Here, go back up to the top of the main page, because that's they got the car there too, which I think is kind of a
land drone.
That is just a cool looking figure. Aside from it's a little wide bottomed, but
it does. I remember these from the show, and they also this middle section like flips back, and this is like a gun.
That's cool.
Does it do it? I'm sure. There it is. Yeah. Oh, okay. I guess the head doesn't flip back in this one. Maybe it didn't before. I don't remember. But yeah, there's a gun there, and it's got detail.
Yeah.
Comes apart. All my toys break apart, but this one goes back together. They're also doing.
Yeah, they sadly failed at doing those guys. Is what happened. Yeah.
He didn't turn out too bad.
They were making accurate likeness. Is that a word? Likeness. More than 8 different hands. So this is
8 different pairs.
More than. So they're 9.
No. It's at least 8.
At least 8.
It's the answer I hope is 9, because that's a great way to say 9.
So anyway, what happened? I mean, these are very detailed. These are very nice figures. I guess the images were getting around with a very decent Tom Cruise likeness. And they got shut down. And so basically what happened is you're going to get this figure. If you buy these at this point, you're getting this figure. For a little while, they had an open pre-order where if you bought all the figures, you got like this special pack, and all you could see is that it was a head and the head was blurred out. And so that was the only way that you could get the Tom Cruise head. And I guess the other characters, you were just like, you're just not getting them at all. So I don't know. I was never a big Top Gun guy anyway.
Yeah.
But it was a nice. From what I remember, I don't have any of the pictures left. From what I remember, though, it was a very nice likeness.
I don't want to spend too much time here because I want to make sure we get to the other things. But I do want to mention that they are apparently trying to do the failed HasLab Ghost Rider car.
Yeah, they are. It's very. I mean, they got it. It's and it's kind of cool. Like I like what they did there, where they're just like, you could just buy this car, and you could buy it in orange, and it's the from whatchamacallit. Yep. And what's even better is it does not have the offensive flag on top.
Yeah, you add that yourself.
you gotta have one of those stickers yourself.
Yeah. What was this car called? Why am I blanking on what the car is called?
I can't remember. It's the General Lee.
It's the General Lee. Obviously, yes, of course.
Yeah, obviously. And I mean, to be fair, I'm not a car guy, so I don't know these things super well. But I feel like the car without the fire stuff on it looks like Baby from Supernatural, but I could be way off, so I'm sorry if I am. But yeah, you buy up the expansion stuff, and it can be the failed HasLab fire car. I want to say that there was a point where.
Is that Blade?
I think that is a Blade figure. There was a point where you could purchase some expansion pack to this, and it came with the modern, like the new Ghost Rider head as well. But I don't think that that's how it works anymore, because it is not. It doesn't seem available anymore. But
All right.
It's a very cool thing that they're doing. I mean, it's $200.
How much was the HasLab though? Do you remember?
I want to say it was more. I think it was like 3.
I think it was closer to 3. Yeah.
Um, and so this is what they're here for. They're saying, hey, you wanted that? We're gonna make it, man. Do it to it.
Yep.
Do it to it.
Do it to it. So, moving on. I wanted to talk about this thing that I got in the mail today.
Yeah.
Which I was not expecting to get in the mail or talk about on the show necessarily, but I felt like it dovetailed well into the other topics that we talked about of Hasbro's collector items for the Rise of the Beasts movie.
Mm-hmm.
So if you go, I love Optimus Primal. He's possibly become my favorite Transformer because I grew up loving Beast Wars.
Right. Yeah. Like many of us did.
Yeah. It's like G1 was on when I was a baby, and I only watched a couple of episodes that were at the video store. You know, and I loved the toys and everything, and I knew all the characters and stuff, but Beast Wars was when I was
to experience Beast Wars
when I was,
as it happened.
Yeah, exactly. And when I was old enough to decide for myself what I liked and what I didn't, you know, I was like 12 years old, whatever. Beast Wars was on in the morning before school. I loved it, you know. Mm-hmm. And Optimus Primal is a great character. Gary Chalk played him. Gary Chalk then played Optimus for way too long, but in every like subsequent show for a decade. But Optimus Primal is one of my favorite characters. And so they did this Rise of the Beast movie and they got Optimus Primal in it. And he's a completely different character, but I still like monkey that turned into robot. Okay.
Monkey looking robot looking monkey.
Exactly. And that's what this figure is. This figure is so good at that I will transform it in real time because, and I'll just give myself the camera here.
Yeah.
But anyway, I have purchased almost all of the Optimus Primal toys from this toy line, from this movie. The majority.
How many of them were there?
I don't know. It's probably like 6, but I only bought like 3. All of them are like 2 or 3 steps max to change him from monkey to robot because he's a gorilla is almost a person to begin with. Yeah.
Right.
But they're all very simple because they're like the $10 to $15 little kid versions of things.
Yeah.
And so they don't do much. This is a Takara Tomy exclusive that you had to get from Hasbro Pulse or from like one of their stores in Japan. And he was like $60, I want to say, which is decent.
That's not terrible. Yeah.
For a thing that's this big.
Right.
I'm trying to think of like a. Hang on. This is
a pretty noise.
Oh yeah, that was a toy rubbing against my metal water thing. This is how big a standard deluxe Transformer is nowadays. Okay.
Okay. And how much is the deluxe?
They're like getting to be $30.
Shit.
So this is closer to like the size of what a leader class was like 10 years ago.
Right.
So, and he's a decent looking ape in ape mode, you know?
Well, and I mean, this is also like the movie. Yeah, he's very accurate to the movie. You know, the movie has him being a monkey looking robot and a robot looking monkey.
Yeah. The head sculpt is very good for the movie. He doesn't have a lot of paint, but also, he's almost entirely gray in the movie. So
right.
There is a completely different mold of this guy in the studio series that's going to be coming out very soon. That's, I think, a little bit smaller and $5 more, but comes with more accessories. What's great about these guys is that the movie went through so many different like rewrites and reshoots and everything that Hasbro didn't even really know what this guy was going to be like in the final movie. So in the other toy, they're just like, hey, we got all the accessories from the concept art because who knows, you know?
Right.
And so this thing incorporates a ton of features from the original Beast Wars toy that do not appear at all in the movie. And I'm going to show you all
I think that's pretty fair.
as I go. So his transformation is fairly simple because you just flip his feet down, you flip his butt up, you stand him up. And now you can see how tall he is. He's actually fairly tall.
He's good size.
You flip up his front butt. Actually, I don't even think you flip that up yet. You spin it around. His arms are basically done already at this point. His arms do nothing.
Just put them down. Got it.
Chest open, back open, and we're basically going to this part is actually, you know what, this was easier to do when the front butt was in the front. But he's got his two heads in there, and you just kind of pull the thing up, rotate it around, and that's the gist of the transformation. You got to get his monkey head. Hold on. Got to get his monkey head facing the right way inside of him, or his chest won't close up again. Hang on.
Isn't that always the way?
Yep. Oh, come on, monkey head. Goes this way, right? I'm pretty sure. Maybe, maybe not. Monkey head. Nope, that is not the way. This is not the way. I think it does go this way, right? Because then you can go like that. And, oh wait, is this just... Yes, there we go. Okay. That's it. That's it. And then you fold up his back butt onto his back, spin that around. There he is.
He looks great.
He looks great. He's got the head, like the face that looks more like the concept art / original Optimus, where like the faceplate has the break in it for his actual mouth. But spin it around. And now he's got the full faceplate face that you see in the movie for like the 4 seconds that he's on screen in this mode. So he comes with his two swords.
Now, are these concept art swords, or
these actually appear in the movie, believe it or not?
I still haven't seen it, so I gotta make an effort on that.
They're modeled after the original toy swords, and they do appear in the movie, and they do also connect like this, which is a thing he does in the movie. They can connect like this, and he can hold them as like a single.
Nice.
And his fingers have articulation. He can point, and then the rest of the fingers are separate.
My finger points.
Okay. So, in addition to, I mean, that's pretty much all the features that he has from the movie, because he doesn't really do much in robot mode in the movie. But for the the things brought over from the original toy, this part was kind of difficult to do. But if you pull, I think you got to kind of half transform him here to get his back open a little bit more. And then inside of here, you can pull up these. Get back in there.
He sounds nice and sturdy, too.
He is. He's not as premium as like a Masterpiece figure.
Right.
But he is pretty sturdy. There we go. Spin that back around. Okay, so now he's got his shoulder blaster things from the original toy, and he does come with shooting missiles. This is the first time I've had a Transformer with shooting missiles in like 10 years. They're that, I don't know what they're called, like the friction ones where it's just got like a ball in it. And you push, and they kind of shoot a little. Yep, that's a little.
Oh, silly.
And then the other thing that he's got that I actually really do appreciate is that there's a button under both of his arms so that he can do this.
Oh, that's cool.
And it, like, the laser actually pops out when it opens. Not that you can really see it, but the laser does pop out.
Oh, yeah, it does. Look at that. That's very cool.
And then the rest of these ports are for connecting the animals that transform into weapons, which are exclusive to the toy line and not part of the movie at all.
Oh, I love it. I freaking love it.
This is a cool figure. It's not super expensive for what you get.
Yeah, for because $60, that's not bad at all.
He's very big compared to other modern Transformers. And I think he's more black and silver, and pretty much every other Optimus Primal toy that they've made has been more... Oh, his head does go down better here. has been more just shades of gray, which I appreciate. So I think this is the most accurate one, but the official American Hasbro one is going to be more like, hey, we're giving you all the accessories you could ever possibly want kind of thing.
That's fun.
So you know me, I'm going to have both of them.
Right.
There we go.
Now, I got a question for you because this was posed...
Wait. I forgot to do a thing. This is still his gorilla chest. I forgot. It spins around. And now you can have his very different robot chest.
Oh, look at that. It's so different.
Yes.
Okay. This is just a kind of a general toy question.
Mm-hmm.
How important are accessories to you?
I want the iconic, like if he has like a gun or a sword, I would like those things, but I don't need you to give me, I don't need blast effects. I don't need shooting missiles. I don't need that one thing that appeared in that one episode, you know?
Right.
Optimus Primal should have these swords. That's it. You can his toy came with a skull mace on a chain and stuff. I don't need that. He didn't use that in the show. They're going to include that with the other movie figure of him, because I'm pretty sure he actually was supposed to have that in the movie, and then they just cut that scene out. But
so I mean, I personally, I love accessories. I have purchased toys for their accessories, you know, but I kind of feel more like the more we go down this path of, we got to make it cheaper. I guess I'm much more willing to pay the premiums if I'm getting all those extras.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean? Like I said, I'm going to be buying another animated Wolverine figure because I really want that down mask, you know?
Yeah.
And so it's little things like that where even if I don't expressly display the thing, if it's a thing that's kind of important to me, then I want it.
I would have been that way. I was that way for a long time, where it was like the Lightning Collection would do this on occasion, where they'd be like, hey, we're re-releasing the same figure, but now they've got their, like, we're giving you Lost Galaxy Red again, but now he's got his space bazooka. And I'm like, well, I don't have that space bazooka. I got to get that figure now. Now I got two of them and I got a space bazooka. Like some things do that, like some Transformers would be like, we're putting out this version, like this is the first one, and now we're going to put out one with a slightly different deco, but it has like the other half of the accessories you want, and I would get them. Nowadays, because of the prices of things, my attitude is shifted the other way, where I'm just like, give me just the figure with the bare minimum accessories and take the price down a little bit.
Right. You know what I would love to see come back? Accessory packs.
Yeah.
I think accessory packs
saying that for your entire life.
I have. It's just such a genius way of doing it, to where you can cut down the cost on your mainline figures, and then you can still make people happy by saying, oh, hey, I mean, like the classic example for me is, I don't know if you even remember this, but Moss Man was just Beast Man repainted. You know that, of course, you know that.
Yeah, they left him out in the rain.
Right. You got a little mossy. But famously, they also put out an accessory pack that had a yellow colored version of Beastman's armor that most of us kids slapped directly onto our Mossman figures, because we're like, of course, why not?
Mm-hmm.
And it's just so much so that I don't even count a Mossman complete if he doesn't have those accessories, and I feel like that's just a winner of an idea, man. I don't know.
I don't know if you're aware of this, but Hasbro has done this twice for Transformers in the last couple of years.
Yeah.
They put out on Hasbro Pulse exclusives as part of the Generation Selects line, which did that line end? I'm trying to think of. Anyway, they were like, here is, for whatever amount of dollars it is, they would be like, one of them was it was one of the guys who can break apart into different weapons. And they were like, we painted him like a Centurion drone from that one page of that one comic. And also here's every single accessory that was missing from the last like 2 years of Transformers, plus some more tiny little ships for you to display with your Unicron, plus, you know, this, that. And it was just like guns. And it was very clearly like, oh, that's definitely Hound's gun. That's definitely Bumblebee's gun. That's, you know, and then they did it again with repainting one of the dinosaur guys. And then they threw a bunch of accessories in there and everything. They haven't done that since then, but that was very cool. Like Optimus Prime's jetpack thing. You know, like they were like, here's the jetpack that you can use with Optimus Prime. You know, it fits in the hole in his back and everything. And it was, you know, that was good times.
It is. I wish they would take that model up more, you know.
I wish it wasn't a fan channel thing. Like you're
well,
like,
right. Yeah.
It would like what you're saying really is like build that into the toy line.
Exactly. Don't screw around.
Yeah.
Just say, hey, there's going to be a SKU that is an accessory pack.
Right.
The accessory pack is maybe the cost of one figure, but comes with accessories that you can use across the line, or maybe, you know, ideally a little cheaper than a whole figure.
I don't know how Mattel is, but Hasbro is really, they really shy away from selling anything that can't be used unless you buy something else. You know,
Mattel is more shy about making something that they can't use 10 different ways somewhere else. You know, a He-Man classically is built on like one body with, you know, like 3 different pairs of arms and legs, and that's it. Until a line gains speed, and then like, oh, well, here's this guy and this guy and this guy. But, you know, like I have been dying, you know, for an Origins Rio Blast, but he is a 100% fresh tool that has nothing to share. And so he is always going to be a later in line figure. You know, although Ram Man came out very quickly.
Size comparison, in case you were
nice
with the masterpiece.
Yeah, they could hang out.
They could.
They should. But yeah, I don't know. I love accessories. I think accessories are great. Obviously, I make new ones. You know, and so like whenever there's something that's like, oh, I have almost gotten to the point where I will buy like a second figure to get more of that accessory. You know, if it's a weird, funny little thing. I'll never forget how disappointed I was because I bought a Deadpool figure like right before I bought the Deadpool Marvel Legend, I think right before or right after, I can't remember which, but they put out like an ultimate Deadpool figure that was the same price as all the other ones, and he had like everything you could possibly imagine. He had tacos and chimichangas and like all this ridiculous stuff. And then like the one I got came with a bazooka and 2 handguns, and I was like, I bought the wrong one.
Yeah.
So yeah, that kind of stuff always gets me more interested in a line. And it's I don't know, it's probably a sickness.
All right, let's hit our last topic as we're getting toward the end here, which was speaking of accessory packs, completely forgot. Yeah, it's the hat pack from Fresh Monkey Fiction.
Oh yes, Fresh Monkey Fiction created one of my favorite action figures. This guy is obviously Santa Claus.
Let me give you the thing first, and then
yeah, just for a second here, because then we can look at the thing.
Hold on.
Nope, that's you. That's you. Ho, 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 ho. So this Santa Claus figure is one of my favorite action figures. It is a sturdy built, well articulated, well painted, well sculpted figure. And Santa Claus is one of my favorite characters. I don't know which one to say, but
I think both.
It perfectly embodies everything I've ever wanted. I've wanted a good quality Santa Claus action figure for a very long time, and I know I'm a weirdo, but I don't care. So this came out last year. It arrived Christmas Miracle style right before Christmas. And one of the first things that I noticed about it is that he has this lovely hat. And this hat fits very well on most figures I've tried it on. And it fits like this one's a little bit off because Mr. T has a uh, a mohawk, but if I put a little bit of blue tack in there, it stay like gangbusters. You know, we'll look at.
Yeah, gangbusters don't move.
That's right. Dolph here, even with all of his mullety glory, that's a pretty darn good fit. Anyway, when this came out, one of the first things I said is, "Oh my gosh, I wish I could have like a dozen of these hats, and at Christmas time I'd just put them on all of my figures." Well, my prayers have been answered, and Fresh Monkey Fiction has put out this update last week before, somewhere in there. They're giving us this accessory pack, which is kind of fun because I don't know if you see my Santa head here, which I don't mind it at all actually, but my Santa head here has like a yellow tinge to his beard, which is actually very honest. When it comes to older men with white beards, they have a yellowy tinge to their beard.
Especially if they've been smoking a lot.
Right, especially if they've been smoking. But on the new release, they did more of a snowy white with gray. And so you can see in this figure pack, you can just buy, because they didn't want to screw over the guys who got the original, they made this pack available, which is going to have a much snowier, whiter beard, another hat, the gloved hands, which this one did not come with. So he's got the white gloves. He's got a bell. That is a pipe. So speaking of smoking, then he's got a flesh tone hand that holds the pipe.
Go in the mouth, or can only be held?
I think it can only be held.
Okay.
And then you do get Santa's sack there and 2 stockings. Now the original one, I think I maybe put the accessories away. I think just the toys hanging out here. He came with a really good assortment of accessories. Like he came with a wrapped gift, a little plate, cookies, a little tiny cup that you could have with milk in it or not. It could, like, the milk was a solid little chunk that you drop in there. Like, really well made, thought out accessories. A naughty nice list, like pretty much everything you could imagine. Minus these couple of things, which they did make, because this line is not just basic Santa. They went wild and they made like a Krampus Santa and a zombie Santa and a mall Santa.
Yeah, I think we could probably see, some pictures of those.
Yeah, up here
somewhere. But like here's like there's
okay, so these I wanted to point these out as well. Those are the 3 3/4 inch Santa and Krampus Santa that they've coming out with this year, which I am ecstatic about. You click on that one. That you have Pirate Santa,
zombie pirate. Yeah.
And so each one of them came with some different accessories. Sometimes they were just augmented accessories. Sometimes, like you can see, the Pirate Santa has a candy cane hook hand. Like all sorts of fun things.
That's clever.
And then I think they call them the Jolly. These are not Santa figures, although they are very cool.
They could be used with Santa figures, though.
They could be, absolutely. This company, Fresh Monkey Fiction, is putting out really amazing toys. And they keep their price points, I feel like, relatively reasonable. Like these are like cloth and all sorts of crazy things. So I think these are a little bit more expensive. The Naughty Nice, I want to say, was $25. I feel like they were 20 or 25. See, I think they call him the Jolly Santa. So you get different ethnicities of Santa Claus, which is cool. These were just, yeah. They put out those little 3 3/4 inch. There's a ton of those. They're helping Toy Otter with this line, which I am very excited for. I have many of them on pre-order. You got Rocketeer, you got the Goon, you got the Tick. I think this is all a Rocketeer centric wave.
Yeah. Well, we talked about like the wave with the Tick and everything back in the day.
Yeah. And I mean, yeah, these are
there's a
prototypes to see the way they size and everything. And I can't wait to have these in hand, to be honest with you. I'm very excited for these. Superpowers was one of my favorite toy lines of all time anyway. And the fact that these guys are being put in like pretty size accurately, for the scale is very exciting for me. I really love that this is happening. And like they do like a GI Joe kind of line where they sneak weird things into it. Like there's a Charlie Brown one. I think that's them. If it's not them, I apologize. That might be Boss Fight Studio because they have similar lines. But in any case, we're talking about the Santa Claus ones. The Santa Claus line also, I gotta mention this before, but they have elves. They have nutcrackers. The elves usually come with like a couple of different, like I think you can get. I think one figure has like an evil head, a not evil head, an older head. Like you can customize them a lot. I mean, hell, I might buy that lumberjack looking Santa Claus and stick my head on it because I love me wearing a flannel anyway. But
I have a question.
Yeah.
Fresh Monkey Fiction.
Uh-huh.
Is this fiction about fresh monkeys, or is this monkey fiction that is fresh?
I think it is monkey fiction that is fresh about fresh monkeys that is fiction.
That's deep.
Yeah. Wraps it all up, doesn't it?
It does.
So in any case,
speaking of wrapping it all up,
that
would have been a good segue, but I'll let you finish your.
The whole point of this is that this year I'm going to have a shit ton of Skeletors wearing Christmas hats.
I mean, why?
So
I'm kind of surprised.
That wraps up the whole show.
Kind of surprised you haven't found a way to do that so far. All right then, hold on. Let me get the thing back. I don't know why I put that thing so far away. I need to move it closer. The buttons, the buttons.
The buttons, Duke. The buttons.
I attached them to my other keyboard, and then I pushed the keyboard. Anyway, that's not the point. The point is the episode is over, and we are going to go to sleep now. But we will see you again next week. All right. So thanks for hanging out. Thanks for watching. Have a good weekend, and we'll talk to you next time. Goodbye. Reaching for the button. Earthquake test.